want to talk to you about another slasher movie that came out in '83, directed by J.R. Cardone, The Slayer. Now, this is also one of those more hidden gems that came out in that golden era, and for me, I like it. Other people think it's boring, and I do understand why. I'm gonna explain that in a minute. Sarah Kendall plays Stacy, and she's there with her husband Eric, her brother David, and his wife Brooke. Now, she's unstable, Stacy, and she has these dreams, and everything she dreams, she paints. So her work is she's a paintist, an artist. Eric is a doctor. David is, I believe, a commercial consultant, and Brooke, I don't know what Brooke does. Housewife. That's a profession. Um, so at some point, she they take a small airplane, and they arrive at the airplane. The airplane guy who is steering it is a weird dude. You're already getting weird vibes about him, and she says, Stacy says, I've been here, like, I feel like I've been here before, and he says, a lot of people say that. And so you already got this foreshadowing, doomy, gloomy feeling. He says, are there any more people on the island at this time? No, you're all alone. So it's pretty creepy because it's a big island, and there's only one house, and that's the vacation house. So the girl, she when there apparently they had to walk 10 miles or something with their baggage to go to the house. So they didn't know that. Well, okay, it was a present by David's boss, and to stay there. It's his vacation house. Um, Now, Stacy is seeing this old abandoned theater. She said, "I know this. I painted this." Eric, come on, come on. Eventually, what happens? They get out and they get in the house. And the house is pretty neat. It's pretty fancy. And now, what this movie basically is, in my opinion, is almost a precursor to Friday Nightmare on Elm Street. She dreams of this monster, let's call it the Slayer, but it doesn't necessarily kill her first. It kills the ones she loves. So first begins with Eric. He gets he's investigating something in the night, and it's raining outside, and the elevator shaft doors are open, and he wants to close them, and they close like this and basically smash his head, and they start to, I know it's a weird silly kill, but it's still a gory kill because they squeeze his head off. um, the kills we have in this movie are really practical done and gory. At this point, of course, they know he's missing, and then you have the a little bit of the boring side of it. The second act, they're all just going in circles around the island, looking at him, looking for him, looking for him. Eventually, Stacy finds him without a head in the theater, in the broken theater, and David knows, there is a killer. He's trying to fire flares, but the airplane pilot said there's gonna be a storm, and I can't fly under those weather conditions. So they know they're stuck there. So um, she's completely frantic. She says, I cannot fall asleep because then you'll die. I cannot fall asleep. She's drinking coffee, coffee, coffee. Eventually, David thinks it's bullshit, and she gives her sleeping pills in her coffee, and she falls asleep. Now, what happens is, of course, David first he gets killed. He gets a few hooks in his face, really graphic because the hooks are really like almost in Hellraiser with the hooks and tearing the flesh off almost and getting dragged in the ocean. And then Brooke goes and investigate, and she gets when she wants to crawl out of the window, she gets a pitchfork right through her chest, and you see the ends of the pitchfork coming through her chest. It's pretty well done. It's almost Savini-like effects. Shane, there are just a few. She wakes up, of course, she knows what happened, and she starts to barricade herself, and eventually somebody wants to get in, and she thinks it's the killer, and it's apparently the airplane pilot. He kills him by firing a flare. Sorry, spoilers, I know, but at the ending, she opens the door, and the Slayer is standing there, and she wakes up as if she's a child again, and it's almost like she's in this loop. So the Slayer is controlling her life and going back and forth, back and forth. So it's kind of like Freddy Krueger, but not directly, but it evolves by sleeping and then somebody dies. So um, I liked it. There's an atmosphere, there's a claustrophobic feeling in this isolated area, this atmospheric eeriness. You get the kills are really gory, really well done. The special effects are really well done. You've got one more kill that I'm not gonna spoil. It's a fisherman on the other side of the island. Uh, and yeah, I'm not sure. There's foreshadowing doom on this movie, but of course the middle part, and that's of course a negative. It's a little bit repetitive, boring. They're just young Eric all the time, all the time, all the time until they find the body. So that's a minus, but for the rest, I think it's a solid slasher movie. And I think if you're a slasher fan, you never seen this one, check it out and say what you like in the comments. Bye bye.